Hey all you Cal Naughton Juniors and Ricky Bobbies, I'm Dale Robin Jr. III and this is Slow to Pro, a YouTube series where I go from slow to getting surgery to changing my setup and overall making myself a little slower. This is episode number 16. We are back at Monza because I figured it was smarter to get familiar with a new setup at a track that I don't have to do much thinking on. I tried going at Spa and that was a disaster. I'm blaming the car, Zabina, but really, it's on me, a lot like my marriage. If you're a smarty McDoogie Howser, then you saw the length of the video and realized that I crashed out of the race, or I got punted, or I cut the boring bits out of me slowly lapping the track with no traffic around me. You'll have to stick around. If this sounds like the type of meat you like to slice, make sure to subscribe or I'm taking you out in turn one. Putting a like on the video is honestly no joke, it's really helpful. Let me know in the comments what track we should try to learn next. I don't know many, so any suggestion is a good suggestion. Here we are. In my head, this is panic. The infamous turn one at Monza is coming up and we started in P6, so there's more traffic behind me than there has ever been because this is the farthest up the grid that I have ever started. Somehow or another, we make it through turn one without incident. At this moment in the race, my mind is blown. I'm racing on instinct alone because my mind is so focused on the fact that we just made it through turn one with zero contact. None. Zero. I just want to soak this in because it feels so good. I feel like it's happened before, but I don't remember it. It's like being born. I was born, but I don't remember it. But I know it happened because someone told me and I believed them because I ain't no sheep. And by this point in the race, I have forgotten all about turn one and I'm now trying desperately to forget what's behind me. Luckily, they wreck and that puts a gap between us and mayhem like us. So now I start thinking about how to apply the pressure to the Lamborghini in front of us driven by Mr. Perez. And I decide to make him think I'm going to try to go for a dive bomb into the chicane coming up. This is where knowing the circuit is helpful. I know if I could force a mistake through the chicane, that's going to give me a better exit onto a long straight. So I swing up the inside, but then just dip right back behind for a normal race line. And either through pressure or luck, Perez slips on his exit and we're able to hook the power up sooner and get the pass. I didn't like the way Perez kind of came out at me. I feel like he knew what he was doing, but I wasn't going to let the guy on marbles dictate when I was allowed to pass him. If you don't want to get past, don't Tokyo drift through the turns, Perez. We're coming up on the close of lap 1 and we're running in P5 at the moment. 5th place is actually the best position I have ever finished in an online race in Assetto Corsa Competizione. So I'm pretty thrilled to be running 5th at the moment. I'm a little nervous about turn 1 because of homie in the mirror, but a little excited to catch some traffic in front of us. So we handle the bus stop about as well as it currently gets for old Dale Robin Jr. III, and I'm still trying to get my legs back underneath me after surgery. These heavy braking zones can be a little painful at times. That probably means I shouldn't be sim racing yet, but can't help myself. Right about now, I am super focused on trying to hit my braking points so I can reel this Audi in since he's got some traffic in front of him. For those like me who have no idea why that makes you slower, imagine pulling up to a red light, and now imagine pulling up to a red light with cars already stopped at it. You know, you gotta brake sooner or you're gonna be in jail for non-consensual penetration. It's just how it works. This is the part where I realize I'm probably in over my head and I need to just focus on being smooth because this Audi is starting to run away like Sheila. But I'm still close enough to get a whiff of a draft from the straights. So maybe there's still some hope. But I absolutely need to nail Variante Scari if I'd like to stay close enough to maintain a draft into the straight that leads to Curva Parabolica. I take one of my better lines through the chicane there and surprise myself enough to forget to shift into 5th. Luckily, that doesn't ruin our run down the straight too much and we're able to maintain a little bit of a slip. And then coming into the final turn, I'm able to brake a little later, get a better line, and now we are within spitting distance. There's places the Audi's pulling away, there's places I'm pulling him back in, and this is shaping up to be a dogfight if I can keep Zabina in the mood for it. Here we go across the line for the start of lap 3, and we are in the slip of the Audi. I know that I usually brake right at the 150 board on the left, but I brake a little earlier to account for the Audi in front of us, but it's not enough. I'm a moron, and I'm really happy I didn't damage his car or ruin his race here. Give him a second to recover and stay in front of me, because I definitely didn't earn that spot, and major props to the fella behind me for not making that a bigger incident than I already created. I remember feeling really bad here. I was worried that the Audi driver now didn't trust me behind him and might make a mistake out of fear of another mistake from me. So I'm trying to display to him that I'm not trying to be aggressive, and I'm trying to give him a little room. Because of that, we are running a bit slow, and the Bentley behind us is catching up. Behind the wheel of that Bentley is Mr. Talent. Before this race, I had to hop in for the end of the previous one, and Mr. Talent had won that race by quite a bit. So I tried to remember the names of like the top 3 guys, so I wouldn't try to hold a spot that I had no actual hope of holding. And right here is where I decided to just let off the throttle briefly, let him by so we could just tuck him behind and see if we can't learn something from Mr. Talent. Unfortunately, he is far more talented than I guess it's all in the name. He's able to pull a massive gap pretty much immediately through Variante Ascari. He's now so far in front that I don't think we have a toe down the back straight here. I'm now banking heavily on the Bentley catching the Audi, and then maybe I catch them both in curva parabolica. And that's exactly what happens. The Audi runs wide just like he previously did, and I'm able to sneak right back up into spitting distance here for the straight. So we've got the slip, we're headed for turn 1, and it looks like the guy behind us is far enough behind to not be worried about, so I'm really thinking this is going to be a great race. I'm going to stick to this Audi at the very least, and it's going to be a nail biter till the finish. But we've got a hard lesson coming up in our rearview mirror. If I was Mr. Perez in that Lamborghini, I think a better choice would have been to put your car into the grass and not ruin the race for anyone else. The engineer said it was light damage to the rear, but he pretty much always says light damage until your tires are getting a suntan. The truth is that Zabina has no rear end grip, my brain is rattled, and my back is starting to ache from the surgery. So I think I end up spinning the car out and cover parabolica. But because I trusted the engineer and thought I had more grip than I did, so I decided to take it to the pits after that, because I was beginning to drive like a pissed off teenager and didn't want to ruin someone else's race. That's all for today. If you hate Perez, make sure you click the like button so he knows what a dirty dog he is. If you want to see more like this, be sure to subscribe. If there's something I could have done better or something you want to see, let me know with the comments so I can make it happen. Thanks for watching Slow to Pro. I'm Dale Robin Jr. III. You guys go out there and have the kind of day you want to have.